Each and every year on Memorial Day weekend, we descend on the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a tradition like no other. This tradition sees all kinds of faces, all varying in levels of experience and background. From the legends to the runner-ups
Case out of two with the lead
to the rookies.
Area.
From those looking to just have some fun to those who couldn't have a bigger chip on their shoulders. No matter who finds himself on the starting grid for this race, they all share a common trait: the pursuit of victory. Victory can only be rewarded to one, however. Who will that be? That's for destiny to decide. This is the prelude to the Indianapolis 250. This is the Freedom 100. What's going on, everybody? Caleb here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here for the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100, the sister race to the Indianapolis 250 that'll be raining tomorrow afternoon. And year in and year out, this always proves to be an absolute spectacle, and it's going to be very exciting to see how this year's rendition of the Freedom 100 will play out. Of course, we definitely have a lot of stuff to look forward to here in this race. We got a couple changes here coming into this year's edition. Of course, as many of y'all know, we're upping it to the Freedom 100 this year. Double the distance and almost double the field size here this time around. So we got a lot of new faces to look forward to here in this year's race, and it's going to be very exciting to see how it all shakes up. Got 40 laps on the docket this time around. We are definitely in for a fun one here today on the eve of the Indianapolis 250. And joining me alongside here up in the booth, we got the big staple. Nathan Stapleton joins me on the call here for the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100. And thank you very much for joining me up here in the booth. Of course, I know you have participated here in the Freedom 100 in years past. You were in this race last year, and you were definitely one of the more aggressive drivers in last year's race. Made a couple of three-wide attempts, which actually ended up kind of working out for you. But you know what it's like to drive in this race. You know that tensions are high, especially with how condensed this race was in years past. But it's going to be a little bit longer this time around, but we also do have a larger field size as well. So a lot of changing factors going into this year's race. So what are you looking out for, and who are you looking out for in this year's edition of the Freedom 100?
Well, thanks for having me, Caleb. It's great to be here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And like you said, we got a lot of changing factors. More cars, double the laps. But regardless of the fact, you still have to be very aggressive. It's 40 laps, it's not 100 like it is with the Indy 250. So it's a lot shorter. You still gotta make as many aggressive moves as possible. I know I was very aggressive last teammate. We lied a couple of times, but you gotta be aggressive. You gotta look away from the back to the front. And like some of these drivers that did not qualify really well, they have to look the way up to the front if they really want a chance at this race win. Like Andrew Williams, like Igor Barretto, like Emily York Watson, Angel Gutierrez, Leonard Koshman, Alexa Salesman, that all start towards the back here. You gotta be aggressive but calm at the same time to get up to the front, and then for the drivers starting inside of the top 10. It's a short race, only 40 laps, but you still want to maintain both track positions. So it's gonna be interesting. This is always one of the most chaotic races all Indy 250 week long, and maybe even all year long on AG the channel. And I'm looking forward to what we have in store for the 2026 edition of this great race here for the Freedom 100.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be very, very exciting to see how this race plays out. And like you mentioned, even though it is double the length, you still got to keep in mind this is still somewhat of a short race, just a little bit shorter of half distance of the Indianapolis 250. So while there is a lot more time here in this year's race, you definitely can't let it slip away from you. and need to keep in mind just all the factors here in this race. Track position, definitely going to play a major part, especially as this race does go along, because, of course, with the longer race could definitely bring its challenges. Tire wear definitely going to be a more prominent factor in the race with the longer distance. Once we do get towards the end, the tire wear is going to start kicking in. It's going to be a lot more difficult to pass as this race does go along, so that'll definitely be something to watch out for. Of course, no pit stops in this race. We should end right when the first pit cycle of the Indianapolis 250 begins, so these guys should be able to make it all the way here on the same tank of gas and the same tires, but still, those tires will be absolutely calling out for help once we do get to the end of this race, so that'll definitely be something to watch out for. And of course, once the field does get spread out, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on who we see towards the front, who we see duking it out for this race victory once everything is said and done. Track position going to be the name of the game, so like you were talking about, Nathan, you need to be aggressive, especially in the middle to later stages of this race, to really put yourself in a position to fight for the win once everything is said and done. But you don't want to be too aggressive. 3 wide, like we saw multiple occasions last year, could definitely lead to a lot of trouble. So you definitely need to be careful keeping that in regard if you do decide to be really, really aggressive. But man, a lot of factors are present here in these open-wheel cars here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's going to be really, really fun to see how all those factors do play out here in today's race. We'll just have to wait and see how it all goes down, though. But should be a fun one here for 40 laps around the Indianapolis 250. The 2026 running of the Freedom 100. But with all that being said, I think it's about time we introduce your 28 starters here for the 2026 Freedom 100. Let's head down trackside and go through your starting lineup here for the Freedom 100. In row number 14, towards the back of the field, we have the number 2 of Priya McShane, starting off to the outside of the number 47 of Emily York Watson. Row 13, it's the number 20 of Andrew Williams, starting alongside the number 6 of David Dixon. Row 12, it's the number 71 of Igor Barreto, starting alongside the number 29, making their channel debut in this very race, Manny Rosario. Row 11, we find the number 8 of Bernardo de Oliveira, starting alongside one of our Indy 250 D&Q's 2023 Indy 250 champion, Angel Gutierrez. In row 10, we find the number 67 of Alexis Selspin, starting alongside the number 46 of Leonard Kochmer. In row number 9, we find the 86 of Ryan Durrani, starting alongside the number 11 of Kasumi Takashi. Row 8, it's the number 34 of Henry Jack Brown, starting alongside the number 26, Mango Man himself, Daniel Paulus Jr. Row number 7, we have the 27 of Casey Kojima, starting alongside the 04 of Carson Miller. Row number 6, we find the 17 of Rogel Dorn, starting to the outside of the number 22 of Matthew Burnett. Row number 5, we have the 19 of Corey Case, starting alongside the number 79 of Justin Perez. In row 4, it's the number 18, Reese's Machina Tyler Jericho, starting alongside the last of your Indy 250 D&Qs, the highest starting of your Indy 250 D&Qs, the number 54 of BB Ruiz. Row number 3, we find the number 7 of Johnson Jameson, starting alongside the number 14, your current Wawa National Series point leader, Nicholas Cameron. In row number 2, we have the number 5 of Hergel Alonso, starting alongside the 76 of Larry Darwin Jr., on the front row for the 2026 Freedom 100, we have the number 10, one of the most experienced, arguably the most experienced driver here on the channel, Jesse Turner, starting alongside your pole sitter and the number 15 body armor machine, Saden Davidson. And those are your 28 starters here for the 2026 running of the Freedom 100. Definitely quite the stacked field here. We got a lot of experienced drivers here, like Jesse Turner there, starting on the outside pole. Hergel Alonso up here as well, but you also got some relatively newcomers. Here you got Larry Darwin there starting in P3, along with Manny Rosario in the 29, like we talked about, making their first ever channel start. Really excited to see how they do in this race, but overall going to be very exciting to see how everybody does in this race. That's why the Freedom 100 is always so exciting year in and year out. the amount of experience variety we see in this field is definitely quite appalling, and going to be very, very fun to see who we do see fighting for this race victory once everything is said and done. But getting to see all these guys race here on the same racetrack is definitely going to be a whole lot of fun. But with all that being said and out of the way, I think it is just about time we get these guys to roll off here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, starting lineup and race info will be on the left-hand side of your screen. As aforementioned, got a 40-lap race here today. 28 entries here into this year's Freedom 100. So definitely, like I said, going to be very fun to see how it all ends up playing out. But Nathan, got to put you on the spot here. You taking a look here at the absolute stacked field that we got in front of you. Who's your pick to win it all here in the 2026 Freedom 100? Got a lot of drivers to pick from this time around.
Absolutely. We got 28 drivers here, and this is a very well-rounded field here today for the Freedom 100. Got some channel veterans, got some World Cup Series representation, some National Series representation, and some drivers from the Sprint Series. But I don't know why, I don't know how, but I have a feeling that we will see history here today. It's been a long time, but give me Jesse Turner to win the Freedom 100 here today.
Wouldn't that be something if Jesse Turner were to go to victory lane here today, just passing the 11-year anniversary since he went to victory lane for the first time in the first ever Daytona 500 here on the channel. It would be something if 11 years later Jesse Turner could get the race victory here in the Freedom 100. Had a really fast lap in qualifying. It looked like he might be on track for the pole. Or Zane Davidson ended up setting that absolute flying lap and ended up nabbing the pole at the last second. But still got a lot of fast cars here today. We know Jesse Turner has a fast car. We know our pole sitter Zane Davidson has a fast car. We'll just have to wait and see how it all ends up shaking out. Got 40 laps here on the docket. The most exciting time here on AG the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in here to all this exciting stuff we've got during Indy 250 week. Got the Indianapolis 250, the big show coming up tomorrow, but here we are for the sister show to the big show. The Freedom 100 is green flag racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Coming back to the stripe to lead the opening lap. Already a couple lead changes here on the opening lap while the tires are still fresh and the track is gripped up as Larry Darwin Jr. going to lead the opening lap, but Alonso going to dive down the inside and take the lead away here into turn number 1. Johnson Jameson in the number 7 looking to try and follow suit there. We also have the 14, Nicholas Cameron, up here battling for the 3rd position. BB Ruiz, one of your Indy 250 DNQs. Already looking to try and make quick work here through this field as he's already up inside the top 5. Cameron now looking for 2nd on the number 7 of Johnson Jameson, but Hergel Alonso already trying to look out for this race lead, trying to get away just a little bit, but at a track like this, that's probably not necessarily what you want, because the draft definitely powerful here at a track like Indianapolis, especially in these open-wheel cars. That's definitely something to keep in mind as Nicholas Cameron moves his way up into 2nd. BB Ruiz looking to try and clear for 3rd. Here comes the 18 of Tyler Jericho, as well as problems back in there. Igor Barreto and Henry Jack Brown exited turn 2 way on the bottom of the racetrack. I don't know if they got together or something might have happened back there, but actually that's not Igor Barreto. That's the 27 of Casey Kojima. So I don't really know what happened there. If something big did happen, I'll put a replay on the screen, but already a lot of aggression here early on in the going here in the Freedom 100, and definitely showing. But Hergel Alonso all cool, calm, and collected out front as he continues to lead the way here at Indianapolis.
Crazy start there, Caleb, and we're going to see much different racing today than what we will see in the main Indy 250, a little bit more of a pack type of a feel. Also, Alonso's doing a great job out front. Here comes Tyler Jericho to the inside. But you gotta be careful, Blue Indy is very sketchy with these open wheel machines. And we already saw a close moment a couple of laps ago, but Jericho to the lead, double file behind him. And we gotta see of how long Jericho can stay out front, because Alonso was able to stay out front for a couple of laps, and now we got Corey Case right behind Tyler Jericho. Got the 79 of Justin Perez right behind him. And you gotta make the moves here early on, because eventually these tires will take into effect. How much of a fall off we don't really know, but it's the Reese's number 18, Tyler Jericho out front for now.
I'll definitely see a lot of swapping out, especially for the race lead. While these tires are still fresh, it honestly kind of seems to mimic a classic NR Super Speedway race. A cycle race, as we like to call it, but still, you can see your drivers spend a fair share of time out in front. We saw that out of Sergio Alonso before he got passed by this 18 of Tyler Jericho. And now he's trying to lead a couple laps here early on in the going from Indianapolis. Of course, as this race does go along, so it'll start to spread out quite a bit as these tires start to wear. So cars that we do see up here towards the front regularly could definitely be contenders as this race goes along if they do manage to stay up here towards the front of this field. Tyler Jericho looking to try and do that as he continues to lead the way here from Indianapolis. Corey Case there in the 19. In second position, Justin Perez with a dive to the inside in turn number 4, trying to take second away from that 19 machine. There's Larry Darwin Jr. in the 76, getting a big tow here down the front straightaway. Sergio Alonso in the 5 has also gotten back down to the inside. He's looking to try and follow suit. Here's Daniel Paulus Jr. in the 26, running here inside of the top 10, along with Casey Kojima, Rogel Dorn. There's a 10 of Jesse Turner, slipped back a little bit on the outside, but looking to try and stay here inside the top 10. And there is the 15 of Zaven Davidson, your pole sitter. We believe right now the last car rounding out your top 10 here for the moment. Still a lot of cycling going on here inside of the top 10. As Darwin Jr. to the inside of Justin Perez, Alonso Paulus to the inside of the 19 of Corey Case, Kojima also looking to try and follow suit in the 27. They stay side by side here for second. Justin Perez, Larry Darwin Jr. going at it. That's letting the 18 pull away just a little bit as these two continue to go at it. But Darwin Jr. looking to clear here through turn number 2. Alonso looking to try and follow suit in the 5. Perez getting shuffled out on that outside lane. You can just see how close everybody is. Kind of got 2 by 2 here throughout most of the top 10 and some right outside of the top 10. Like I said, we'll definitely kind of almost see like a classic super speedway race here for the first couple of laps, but it'll really start to calm down and spread out as this race does go along, and it gets a lot more difficult to pass.
It might get difficult to pass, but how about that Celsius machine? Daniel Paulus Jr. from top to bottom in the middle of the short chute and 3 and 4. That was a little bit close, and we're definitely seeing these guys kind of cycle, but 2 of the better cars right now are 1-2 of Chris Jericho, or Tyler Jericho, and Sergio Alonso. And you gotta see if, Tyler Jericho can hang on, but Alonso was up there at one point in his own right. But we are definitely seeing a lot of cycling behind him, but not as much as we used past, I think, and that's kind of, I think, with the watch out. Something just happened in the 4th place spot between, I believe, Nicholas Cameron and Jesse Turner. And this is, as I was gonna say, maybe these guys are calming it down a little bit with it being a longer race, but maybe not. As
I don't know.
7 of Kojimi is now in a 3-car breakaway out towards the front.
Top 3 breaking away after whatever happened back here. It looked like Cameron might have got to the inside of Turner and got a bit tight through the corner, just completely slid up the racetrack. Put a replay whatever happened on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, but that also looked like a close one. 2 close calls already so far here in the Freedom 100, but no cautions just yet, knock on wood. But that did stack everybody up quite a bit. Got a lot of double file here from 5th on back as Nicholas Cameron has kind of escaped from that mess as he looks to try and chase down our top 3, and them going at it with each other could definitely help us. Here comes Alonso, looking to try and take the lead back in the 5. They almost bang wheels off of turn number 2. Like you were talking about, this 18 and the 5 especially definitely seem to be 2 of the faster cars here so far. definitely seemed to have the car to kind of stick in the lead for a little while, even when the tires are still fresh and everybody else seems to be cycling out. So Alonso now back to the lead in the 5. Casey Kojima going to clear for second as the 18 goes a little bit wide there off of turn number 4, but still stays in the slipstream of that 27. Here comes Cameron. He's clear for 4th. He's gaining on our top 3. Zayden Davidson has also kind of escaped from that mess. He's up to 5th. There's Corey Case. Ryan Arani is in 7th. There's Kasumi Takashi in the 8th spot. Battle for 9th right now between the 6 of David Dixon and the 17 of Rogel Dorn. Here's Andrew Williams right outside the top 10. Leonard Kochmer, Mary Rosario as well. Rosario doing a solid job in this race, just picking him up and putting him down, is now there. Just a couple spots right now, right outside of the top 10. But they're really going at it now here inside of the top 10 as Chirico back down to the inside of Kojima for the 2nd position. Zayden Davidson with a run here down the front straightaway, looking to try and take 4th away from this 14 of Cameron. Won't quite get the momentum as Cameron blocks him going into turn number 1. And now Cameron shoots to the inside of Kojima. They got stuck up on the outside there off of turn number 2, and that's going to cost him as now here comes Zayden Davidson. Ryan Durrani also going to follow suit. Same for Kasumi Takashi, and I would imagine Corey Case probably going to go to the inside as well. Actually, no, Durrani goes to the outside, and that's going to open up the door for the number 11 machine to get to the inside. Things are heating back up, though, up front as Jericho looking to try and close into the 5 once again. Here he comes.
2 best cars battling for the lead, Jericho and Alonso. And how about Nicholas Cameron in the number 14? He's been a bit hot in the National Series this year. One of the Nexus Alliance drivers in that series, and he's on the move. And another one that is a Nexus driver is Zayden Davidson, one of my guys in the Waller Cup series. He's on the move and got that New Balance machine in the mix as well. And things are all over the place here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're only on lap 14. Normally, this would be crunch time, getting close to the end of 20 laps in this race, but we're only getting close to halfway, so still got plenty of time here in this one. And gotta watch out for Takashi, because, you know, Takashi's had a couple bad years in a row at the little 250. Maybe Takashi can win the Freedom 100 here today.
Now, that would definitely be a bit of a redemption arc there for Kasumi Takashi. We saw what happened to them in the little 250 last night. Arguably had the car to beat in the early stages of the race before getting wrecked out. Definitely not how Kasumi Takashi wanted their night to go, but they're up here at the front, here in the Freedom 100, and looking for some silver lining to their Indy 250 week. Tyler Jericho still out in front of the 18. That might just be the strongest car of the day in that Reese's machine, but here comes Cameron. Here comes your pole sitter, Zayden Davidson, who's found his way back up towards the front. Kojima looking to go, or not Kojima, Corey Case looking to go at it here with the 5 of Harry Alonso. Andrew Williams is up here. Solid run go for that 20 machine after he started towards the back of the field. Rogel Dorn looking to try and make his way back up here. How about this 2 of Priya McShane? Started dead last in that 2 machine, and already, I believe, looking to try and find a spot inside the top 10, but did not get the exit off of turn number 3 that they wanted. And now going to be under fire here from the 34 of Henry Jack Brown. There's Kojima, Johnson, Jameson, BB Ruiz, also kind of lined up back there. Leonard Kochmer in the 46 to the inside of the 11 of Takashi. There's Alonso, Andrew Williams, Justin Perez now on the inside as Alonso looking to take the 2nd place back away. Andrew Williams looking to try and follow suit in that number 20. A couple Wawa National Series guys up here at the front of this field. In fact, the top 4 guys right now are drivers in the Wawa National Series, and Jericho and Kochmer, or Cameron especially. I mean, heck, even, honestly, all 4 of these guys have done a really great job over there in the National Series and really kind of taken their expertise here to these open wheel cars without much of a hitch.
Here we go again. These 2 cannot stay away from each other. Alonso's going to send it into Jericho. Cannot watch out for Nicholas Cameron. Last lap, he tried going for the lead on Jericho, but that didn't look out for him. Now he's going to follow Alonso right behind for the race to really get side by side in turn 3. Not yet. You got Andrew Williams back there in the Covers machine. He's been quiet up to this point halfway through. Now he's going to get up to 2nd, and he might challenge for the race lead. And you gotta think some of these guys might be saving the tires. This is kind of a long one, the entire one of the Indy 250 on these tires. So you gotta manage them, and maybe Jericho and Alonso might be wearing them out, and maybe some of these guys like Perez and Andrew Williams are saving them. Here we go. Williams to the inside.
He's got it. He's got to the inside. Here comes Andrew Williams looking to take the lead away from the 5 of Harrisville Alonso in that Culver's machine. Zayden Davidson to the inside of Justin Perez with help from Tyler Jericho. Rogel Dorn's now showing his face up here at the front as Jericho gets tight there off the exit of turn 3, and Rogel Dorn's going to strike in the 17 as he dives to the inside off of turn number 4. Nicholas Cameron, after getting shuffled out quite a bit, is now up here back inside of the top 10 as these two remain side by side here going into turn number 1. This is really stacking everybody up, but Alonso slips back there on the outside through turn number 1. But now Williams is under fire here from the 15 of Zayden Davidson. Can't quite get to the inside just yet, but Davidson is all over the gearbox of that number 20 machine. And here comes Priya McShane, as aforementioned, started dead last in this event, and right now is inside the top 5 as she's all over the gearbox of the 14 of Cameron. Now to the inside of the 14 of Cameron, looking to try and take the 4th position away. Meanwhile, Rogel Dorn looking to try and go after this 15 of Zayden Davidson for 2nd. Has some help from the 2 of Priya McShane. Can't quite get the momentum needed, and he will slot back in the 2nd, or the 3rd position, excuse me. But Andrew Williams now looking pretty solid out here in the race lead. We could have 3 potential contenders for this win once everything is said and done. Of course, Tyler Jericho has actually slipped back quite a bit in the 18 machine. Can't get back down to the bottom as now he's being attacked here by the 29 of Manny Rosario. But Andrew Williams definitely looking really solid out here in the race lead as well, but still has a mirror full of this 15 and Zayden Davidson. And I'd watch out for that 2-car Priya McShane, maybe just saving their stuff here for the main race, and definitely looking really strong and looking to try and go for the lead potentially here as we cross halfway onto lap number 22. The main race would be over by this point if this was in years past when we had the Freedom 50, but now just crossing over into the 2nd half, and it's definitely been quite the fun race so far here from Indianapolis, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the 2nd half goes now that we're starting to get to a point where these tires are really kind of starting to wear out a little bit.
Absolutely, you gotta save the tires. You're only halfway through, and how about Priya McShane started in last place, trying to do the last 2 first challenge here today, and might be able to saving her tires moving through the field. Got Takashi, got Alonso, who, unlike Jericho, fell back to the back part of the top 10. Alonso was still inside the top 5. Davidson to the inside of Andrew Williams, and he's going to get it. How about this? Might open up the door for Priya McShane. We've not seen 3 wide yet, but will someone make it? I know I made 3 wide a couple times last year in this event. But we gotta see if anyone will. Saying Davidson to the lead, and from last to 2nd, and maybe last to first is Priya McShane up into the 2nd place spot. Crossover moves, and not quite side by side, but Priya looks really fast in that number 2 machine.
Priya looking fast indeed, and here's the momentum. Here's the run to the inside. Going into turn number 1. Can she make it stick? Yes, she can. McShane side by side here for the race lead. Can she clear off a turn number 2? Not quite. Yes, she will. Priya McShane clear for the race lead here in the Freedom 100, but here comes our strong cars of the day on the inside lane, all lined up. Here comes Alonso. Here comes Jericho. And they are leading a line of cars here on the inside lane. Even though these tires are starting to wear out quite a bit, we're still seeing a lot of double file up here at the front of this field as here comes Kojima. Corey Case lined up on the inside lane. Nicholas Cameron, BB Ruiz, Angel Gutierrez, and your past Indy 250 champion from 2023. Haven't really talked about Gutierrez much so far today, but looking to try and make the most of the car when it counts. Maybe he's just staying back, saving their stuff a little bit in the early parts of this race, and looking to try and strike here as we head into the 2nd half. Back up front, here comes the 18, Tyler Jericho. Been the dominant car so far today, not quite going to get to the inside though. Alonso kind of sent it in around the outside there of turn number 3 and will hold on to the lead. But now here comes Jericho with a run off of turn number 4. Oh, big wreck off of turn number 4! It's Manny Rosario in the 29. Emily York Watson involved as well, and we are under caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Igor Barreto, a lot of damage to that number 71. And Emily York Watson, the 47, she is done.
Big time crash, and that is the worst spot to have it happen on the front stretch. And the way that these guys were racing, Caleb, it's gonna happen at some point, but tough way for a handful of drivers right there. As they destroyed number 47.
That is an absolutely destroyed number 47 of Emily York Watson. Of course, winner of the last special event race that I did in the Christmas Eve Showdown back in 2025. An unfortunate exit this time around here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for that number 47. A lot of damage to that 29 of Mary Rosario. I don't know if they'll be able to continue. Unfortunately, definitely not the way that they wanted their debut race to go. Igor Barreto, of course, with a lot of damage. Probably a couple more cars with damage after that as well. But a big crash erupting here off of turn number 4. Here just past the halfway point here on the Freedom 100. Gonna probably restart here with just around 10 laps to go, so it should be a pretty interesting sprint to the finish. It's Harrison Alonso in the number 5 out in the race lead. Tyler Jericho on the 18 and second. Some of our most dominant drivers on the day looking to restart 1 and 2 in the Freedom 100. But let's take a quick look at what brought out the first caution of the day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we'll get you all back to the racing action here in the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100. Taking a look back here at what brought out our first caution of the day here in the 2026 Freedom 100. Gonna watch you off of turn number 4, Manny Rosario. Gonna exit turn 4 here on the inside. You got Daniel Paulus Jr. Gonna misjudge the gap just a little bit. Slide up off the corner into the 29. Pings pong down into the 71, and it's on from there. They both spin into the outside wall, and nowhere for Emily York Watson to go, and flings the 29 almost upside down. Still gets quite a ridiculous amount of air. As Manny Rosario gonna spin around here on the front straightaway on debut. Definitely not quite the way that they probably wanted their day to go, but really unfortunate break there for all the guys involved. Emily York Watson took quite the slap to the inside wall, and unfortunately destroyed the camshaft on that car, so it will be a DNF, unfortunately, from the 47. So really tough break there for Emily York Watson, but Rosario going to take their car back to the pits, and they were able to get it repaired. So looking to try and finish out their debut here on the channel here in the Freedom 100. Igor Barreto also with quite a bit of damage as well in that 71. Have to see if he can keep pace here with the rest of the field, but might be kind of a tall task after that accident. But really tough break there for everybody involved. And our first caution of the day here in the 2026 Freedom 100. We'll take one more quick look here at full speed. We'll get you all back to the racing action here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, DPJ just misjudged the off turn number 4. And what a channel debut for Rosario here in the number 29 machine. And tough way for Emily York Watson. The World Series champion last year, Christmas Eve Showdown, and current Husband Series point leader. But that's going to be a destroyed machine for her, and a destroyed Spotify machine for Rosario here around the midpoint of the Freedom 100. And this is going to be very interesting, Caleb, as we only have 12 laps to go. A late shootout here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the two best cars all day start 1-2 here late in the going.
Indeed, it's going to have 12 laps to go when we get back going here in the 2026 Freedom 100, and got two of our best cars on the day out in the lead. Have to see how this will all shake out for potentially the final sprint to the finish here in the 2026 Freedom 100. Welcome back here to the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100, wrapping up our first caution of the day for a multi-car crash off of turn number 4, which is going to take out a couple cars, including Emily York Watson, going to be going to the garage in that 47 with a camshaft failure after that accident. And of course, a couple more cars with damage after that accident as well, including Mary Rosario, who is going to be continuing in that 29. They did bring that thing down pit road and repaired it to the best of their ability. So we'll see if Rosario can finish their debut race here on the channel. Barreto with a lot of damage as well in that 71. Have to see if he can keep that car out on the racetrack and what kind of pace these guys involved in the wreck have. But after everything is said and done, so got 27 cars here left out on the racetrack. Going to be coming back to green here with 12 laps to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's Sergio Alonso out in front in that number 5 machine. Tyler Jericho in second. Casey Kojima third. Corey Case there in fourth. Nicholas Cameron fifth. Zayden Davidson in sixth. Kasumi Takashi in seventh. Justin Perez eighth. Priya McShane ninth. And Bibi Ruiz rounding out your top 10 here as we head to the restart. Like I was talking about before we took a break to see what happened. Sergio Alonso, Tyler Jericho definitely been two of the most dominant cars so far today. Going to be very interesting to see what they can do here on this restart on lap number 29. But here we go. Green flag back in the air. Sergio Alonso leads the field up through the gears. We're back racing in the Freedom 100 here from Indianapolis. And what a jump from the 18 of Jericho. He got through the gears probably about as perfect as you could. And he's already on the gearbox, that number 5. And here he already goes for the lead.
Jericho has such a strong car today. It's been these two that have been really up front. Andrew Williams was up front at one point. But this has been a 1v1 battle between Jericho and Alonso. And for Jericho being a relatively new driver to the channel to make this kind of noise against Alonso is crazy to see. But eventually these guys will form back up, and eventually we will see who could challenge Alonso and Jericho. But we only have 11 laps to go, and right now it is all Chris Jericho out front. But we gotta watch out for Corey Case. He's been kind of sleeky in the back in third place here today. Same as Zayden Davidson and Nicholas Samadillo. Or not Nicholas Samadillo, Nicholas Cameron. But I say this best definitely been Alonso and Jericho, but then you have these players that happen up front always long, so this is going to be a bomb in the final 10 laps.
Definitely still have a lot of contenders here in this race. A lot of these drivers we've seen out here towards the front of this field. We're talking about, though, especially these top two, as Alonso looking to try and take that lead back from the 18. Not really going to get the pull that he wants, though, and will stay in second. But that 18 at Jericho absolutely fired off on that restart like a top fuel dragster. He continues to lead the way here now inside of 10 laps to go. Zayden Davidson's now up into the third position. Your pole sitter looking to try and get it done here in the Freedom 100. Here comes Justin Perez. Here comes the 27 of Casey Kojima. 79 of Justin Perez. Looked like he was going to leave the space there for 3 wide, but blocks the 27 there on corner entry. As a 5 and the 18 side by side here off of turn number 4. There's Alonso probably going to get it here at the line. Have to see if he can clear here going into turn number 1. I'm sure that's going to help his case. As here comes the 15 of Zayden Davidson to the inside here as we go into turn number 1. But he's looking for more. He's looking for a twofer. Here he comes to the inside of Alonso. He's going to find the gap. And here comes your pole sitter, Zayden Davidson, looking to try and take the lead back here in the number 15. He's got help from Corey Case and Justin Perez. 9 coming to 8 laps to go. This time by Zayden Davidson to the lead here at Indy. But here comes the 19 of Corey Case.
Was sent from Corey Case. We'll move some Zayden Davidson, and watch out for Justin Perez. These guys are teasing 3 wide, and I don't think that will work out well either at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But what a race up to this point, and this is far from over. Here comes Justin Perez to the inside. Trying to get to the inside, Corey Case side by side, and watch out for maybe a 3-1 move here. They've been pretty calm with that all day, but we might end up making it if we end up seeing 3 wide. I don't know how well it will work out, but how about Justin Perez? How about Tyler Jericho? How about the 27 of Kojima to the point maybe, and they only took a few laps to, but all these guys, or most of them, are back up to the front here with only 7 laps to go.
Already got a big pack forming up here at the front of this field as everybody wanting to win this race. Jericho's gotten back up to third, now looking for second on the 27 of Casey Kojima. The patience is running thin here at Indianapolis as time starts running out. Jericho side by side here into turn number 3. Here comes the 07 Angel Gutierrez. Now here inside of the top 5, Andrew Williams, Nicholas Cameron. Also looking to try and show their faces at least one more time here at the front of this field, looking to try and go after it with the 79 of Justin Perez, who continues to lead. Here coming to 6 laps to go. But here comes the 18 of Tyler Jericho. Although a lot of these guys have kind of shown their face up at the front, this 18 has arguably been the dominant car of the day. And Jericho gonna take the lead back here as we head down the back straightaway with 6 laps to go. But here comes Priya McShane in the number 2 machine, looking to try and go last to first here at Indianapolis for the 2nd year in a row. Not quite in the Indianapolis 250, but looking to try and go last to first here in the Freedom 100, but did not find the grip that they wanted on the inside. They slip back. Here comes Angel Gutierrez. We know Gutierrez knows how to get it done here at Indy, as now he's to the inside of McShane for the 2nd position. Following suit is Andrew Williams and the 27 of Casey Kojima. But now here comes Williams in the 20, peeking to the inside, couldn't quite get there. And we have a big pack of cars up here fighting for the win. Once everything is said and done, this has been a monumental entry to the Freedom 50/Freedom 100 saga. And it's still not quite over yet. 5 coming to 4 laps to go this time by. They're battling it out for 2nd. Williams trying to get to the inside of Gutierrez, but can't clear him. Here comes Gutierrez looking to try and get a tow off the 18 of Tyler Jericho, who's looking to try and close out what has been a dominating performance here in the Freedom 100.
It would be crazy to think if Jericho does not win this race, but you got someone that, as you mentioned, knows how to get the job done at the big threat of IMS. Is Angel Gutierrez up front in the 07 former Indy 250 champion up front with 3 laps to go at the line, and you also got Cameron, Kojima, and others trying to close in. But how about Angel Gutierrez? He has taken a full lap to get to the back gearbox of the 18, and it's smart not making a pass on, because all it matters, Caleb, is if you finish ahead of them at the yard of Blitz. So still got time. 2.5 laps to go for Angel Gutierrez in the 07.
We all know what Alex always says. All you gotta do is beat him at the line. Gutierrez still hanging on behind the gearbox of the 18, maybe just waiting for the perfect time to strike. Jericho kind of misses the bottom through turn 3. Gutierrez looking to try and get to the inside, but still staying on the gearbox at number 18. Here comes the 27 of Casey Kojima, looking to try and make some noise here with 2 laps to go. Nicholas Cameron looking to try and go for it one last time, but his plans are going to be spoiled here by the 17 of Dorn, looking to the inside for the 4th position. But it's all Jericho, Gutierrez, Kojima up front. Gutierrez looked to the inside off of turn number 2. Couldn't quite get there, but here comes Kojima. If you're not going to take the punch, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it myself. Kojima to the inside, but can't get the pass made. Gutierrez holds on to 2nd and is going to probably have one more shot here at the 18 of Tyler Jericho as we come to the white flag. 1 lap to go in the 2026 Freedom 100. Tyler Jericho looking to close out a dominating performance here at IMS.
He's dominated this race, but can he lead one more lap? Angel Gutierrez, he's been close to the back gearbox of the race. He's 18. But he has to make a move. He has to somehow get to the back bumper and try and set up a pass for off of turn number 4. That's how he's going to beat the 18 here today. He's getting closer and closer, but he's going to send it here in 3. Jericho one's wide open.
Here comes Gutierrez looking to the inside. They're going to get to the inside. Here through turn 4. Here they come to the stripe. They're going to be side by side. Coming to the line. Gutierrez and Jericho. Give it to Jericho. Tyler Jericho gets just enough of a run on the outside to close out a fantastical performance here in Indianapolis. Tyler Jericho is your winner of the 2026 Freedom 100 in quite spectacular fashion.
All he had to do was beat him at the line. Angel Gutierrez give it one heck of a try. This is exactly what I said you have to do. Try and get a good enough one. Jericho stepped up a little bit in turn 3, and that allowed Angel Gutierrez to get a big one and make a last second charge off of turn number 4. But at the end of it, it was the dominant drive, the dominant car of the day of Tyler Jericho. And how about that dominating drive for him? And he had to beat some stiff competition, some stiff veterans here in AG, the channel history. And Tyler Jericho wins a instant classic in the Freedom uh, history books, and he wins the first Freedom 100 of this event.
Ooh, what a race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a way to open out potentially a new saga here in the Freedom 100. That was an absolutely incredible race and an incredible finish to top it all off. Tyler Jericho, the dominant car on the day, gets it done, and he definitely almost messed it up there on the last lap. Gave Angel Gutierrez a really good shot at it, and definitely have to give Gutierrez a lot of credit. Drove a fantastic last lap there to take the fight with the 18 all the way to the checkered flag. All he had to do was beat him at the line, but just couldn't quite get enough of a run off of turn number 4. And Tyler Jericho is going to win the Freedom 100 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And man, what a race here from Indy. This race always usually seems to be a ton of fun year in and year out. And today's race was absolutely no exception to that. What a race here from Indy. What a win there for the 18 of Tyler Jericho as we take a quick look here through your official results here from the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100. Tyler Jericho, your race winner here in the Freedom 100. He's going to be kissing the bricks here in just a moment. Angel Gutierrez there, going to bring it home in second. Still a fantastic run from a former Indy 250 champion. Casey Kojima, a really solid run from that number 27. They're going to wind up here with a podium finish. Zayden Davidson, your pole sitter, still with a solid run. Going to bring it home in fourth. Corey Case in the 19. Going to bring it home there for the top 5. Nicholas Cameron, great run for that 14 machine. Was up there towards the front just about all day long. Brings it home with a 6th place finish. Bria McShane going from last to 7th. Definitely nothing to scoff at there at all. Fantastic run from that Valvoline number 2 machine. They'll finish in 7th. Andrew Williams going to bring it home in the 8th position, that number 20 machine. Also a really solid run for him after coming from the back of the field. David Dixon, don't really know if we talked about Dixon much all day long. They're going to come home over the top 10 finish. So good stuff there for the driver of the number 6 machine. And Hergel Alonso, probably just being left to ponder what could have been, finishes in the 10th position. Definitely had a car all race on that could have potentially fought with the 18 machine, but kind of just got shuffled out there late in the going. But still a top 10 run there for Hergel Alonso. And then taking a look here through the rest of your finishing order. Fortunately, Emily York-Watson could not finish the race, but the only car that did not finish the race, as all 27 cars that were still left out on the racetrack after that caution flag did end up finishing this race. But, man, what a race this was here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and what a way to send us into the big finale to the Indy 250 week tomorrow with the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Also got the Coca-Cola 600 to look forward to tonight as well in the Wild Wild Cup Series, but man, the sister race to the Indianapolis 250 definitely setting up for a very fun race tomorrow afternoon. What a day here in Indianapolis. This Indy 250 week has definitely produced so many fun events, and this has absolutely been no exception to that.
Absolutely, and you know, this is a lot of work for Indy 250 for all of us, and this moment after moment has been really special here in 2026. And how about that? I think that one's gonna be a contender for one of the closest finishes of the year, Caleb, at the end of the year. And that was definitely something. I thought Angel Gutierrez was gonna get Jericho at the line. I thought it was gonna be closer than what that was gonna end up being, but it was not quite close enough for Angel Gutierrez. And at the end of the day, the most dominant driver got the race win. Definitely for Hergel Alonso and some others that didn't quite get the job done. Davidson was up there always performing. Same with Corey Case, Cameron. great one from the Freedom Exchange, but what a crazy little Freedom 100. And I think, you know, doubling the lap count, almost doubling the field count was definitely the right choice. Because this race always delivers. Doesn't matter if it's the Freedom 50 or the Freedom 100. Because that race was insane. And Patrick Lamont dominated, but he had to own it on the final lap. Thanks for having me, Caleb. What a Freedom 100, and what a way to lead to the Indy 250 here tomorrow.
Absolutely, what a race here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Definitely seems like doubling the distance and almost doubling the field size might have definitely been the move, but honestly, it doesn't really matter how many cars you put on this racetrack or how many laps it is. Indy always usually produces some really fun racing, especially here with these open wheel cars and especially here in this event. And what a great, like I said, Freedom 100 to add to what has been a great saga here in the Freedom 50/Freedom 100 series. Honestly, with what we saw this year, it might keep this train rolling. We'll have to see what ends up happening next time out, but this event definitely, without a doubt, going to return once again. Honestly, at this point, it'd be a crime not to return this event after what we've seen both this year and in years past. Always a lot of fun here from Indy, and cannot wait, like you were talking about, Nathan, to see how this momentum carries into tomorrow at the biggest race of the channel on the year. The Indianapolis 250 going to be premiering tomorrow at noon. Cannot wait to see how that race will end up shaking out. But if today is any indicator, we're definitely in for some absolute cinema tomorrow at noon. But thank you all so very much for tuning in here to the 2026 edition of the Freedom 100. Gotta give a huge thanks to Nathan Stapleton for joining me up here in the booth for this race. And until next time, you all take care and have yourselves a good one. Huge congratulations once again to the 18 of Tyler Jericho. And I will see you all next time. Thank you all for tuning in once again. And until next time, y'all take care and have yourselves a good one.